Hello! Welcome to a Roll for Crit board game battle. This is a special series that we run here where we pit two board games that we've played against each other randomly and decide which one we think is better. Sometimes we fight about it, but usually we agree on a lot of things.
Yeah,
I'm
we tend
Jonathan,
to
by the
agree on
way.
them. I'm Will, and we'll be pulling them out of this helmet, and that has been a consistent theme. Since we are both home, we are streaming these live so you can comment on them. And in addition, last time we just did a very long episode. If you've watched any of our pre-recorded ones, you know that there's the Gambit, which we have at the end. Usually it's something special. It could be one particular game that we bring in and just put it against other ones. We'll do a Gambit in this video.
Gauntlet.
But with that, Gauntlet, wow.
It's all right. We got X-Men on
yes.
the brain. Hello
I
to
do.
everyone in the chat also, and if you notice if there's sound issues, too loud, too quiet, let us know. We're gonna try to fix that stuff on the fly as we go. But and feel free to give us your thoughts as to what you think is the winner as we play.
Right, but without further ado, let's begin.
I'm ready.
First off, we have Role Player, the dice building game of building up your adventure for an RPG.
Mm-hmm.
Versus Say Anything, the party game.
Okay, the party game where you it's apples to apples-esque sort of, but you write down your answers on a whiteboard. I think we're both going to agree that Role Player is the winner here.
Yeah, I do like Say Anything, and I actually want to play it more. Maybe we'll try something online, see if that works. But Role Player, I think, is just an amazingly well-crafted game, and I'm excited for the new campaign. I don't know if it's expansion, successor.
Yeah, standalone spin-off, another entry in the series. Yeah. Halo said Role Player is cool, but only with the expansion. Well, we liked it before the expansion, but there's another one on the way too. So there's a lot of content in that game at this point.
All right, next up, we have Star Wars X-Wing, the miniature dogfighting game when you get to pilot many of these small fighters from Star Wars.
Mm-hmm.
Versus, if I can get it out.
What do we got?
Deception, Murder in Hong Kong. The deductive, I'd call party-ish game, or at least we tend to use it for parties, where someone is a murderer and someone else is sort of the assistant to the murderer, and everyone's trying to find out who that is.
Yeah, this is an interesting one. Those are very different games, but
yeah.
I like this because I like the matchups where it's not just one game that I love or one game I hate. Like both of these are games that I like, but neither are games that we play a ton or games that I like. There may be other versions of these that I like more than another. Where are you landed on this? I have a feeling I can guess, but you tell me.
It's hard because I see there. I have things I like about both of them, but then also some things I don't like about them.
Right.
I think I'm going to have to lean to Deception, Murder in Hong Kong, mostly because I could buy that box and you have the game. Like Star Wars really rewards you buying a lot of things.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel I gotta lean a little bit more towards Hong Kong on that factor alone.
I think that for whatever reason, and my feelings will change all the time on this, I want to say X-Wing. I think that while I agree with you, its distribution model is not one I love, and that's the reason that I don't play it frequently. I think that, Deception, I like it a lot. There are other games in that genre I prefer. I think just looking at it mechanics-wise, X-Wing's really well done.
Honestly, you're right. If I probably had someone who was a big more X-Wings fan and they made all the crews for us,
right?
Maybe it would push it over for me.
Right.
Now I'm feeling like maybe I should. But you know what? We'll let Board Game Geek decide.
For the sake of a battle. So when we can't agree on a decision here, we go to the Board Game Geek ranking, and we figure out which one has a higher score there based on votes that people like you gave it. And that is how we determine the winner.
Really hoping, I was looking on our list to see, because I have a full list of previous games who have been in battle. Both of these are new.
Brand new to the list. And people in the chat, let's see. Ajan says Deception for me. Halo said it's too hard. Can't decide. Hi, Dean. Dean hasn't played either of them, so yeah, I guess you can't make a vote. So I will look up X-Wing, which I don't know. I won't try to predict it because I'm usually wrong when I do. So Star Wars X-Wing geek rating on Board Game Geek has a 7.49.
All right. Deception's got a 7.294.
Wow, that's close.
It is very close, but X-Wing pulls ahead and gets the shot in.
Wow.
All right.
Hey, just like our feelings about it. The world is split on those two titles.
That will be the true election come this November. All right. Next up. Regnum Angelica. This is a 2-player game of sort of heaven and hell fighting against each other. Sort of chess with some some weird element styles to it. But next up we have the Azul, the extremely popular game about tiles.
Before Halo asked the important question, first edition or second edition for X-Wing, I guess we would say blend them together for that. Second edition.
Yeah, I guess we played the first most. No, was it first?
Yeah,
yes.
we most of our experiences with the first edition, but
I think they're twice because every now and then, like Arkham Horror, like we started on second, and they're technically the first before, but it's just like to me that's the first one. So I'd be like, wait.
All right, sorry to derail. Yeah. So the choices again. Mm-hmm. Tell me them again.
I thought you were gonna say that. We have Regnum Angelica. And Azul.
So I think most people watching this probably are not familiar with Regnum Angelica. I don't know if it's in print anymore. It's like a niche 2-player game from Black Locust Games. But if you have the chance to find it, we reviewed it and did a how to play back in the day. And that's a really fun game.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Azul, this is like a game that the mechanics have been really fun, especially for drafting and pulling tiles. I think I gotta give it to Azul.
Azul is a game that has a really good reputation. I think for good reason. It's not my favorite style of game necessarily, but I think I'll side with you, and also I think people will get mad at us if we give it to this other game. Oh,
peer pressure.
Yeah.
You gonna do the same thing when Gloomhaven comes up? I
might. We'll see. But I'll agree with you and say Azul, but it's close. It's close for me, I think, on that one. Hi Pacey in the chat who says, I can't believe I caught you guys live only because it's way too late in Dubai.
Oh man, gotta love those time zone changes.
Yeah, that's fun. All right, what's up next?
Next up, we have Imperial Settlers Roll and Write, the roll and write version of Imperial Settlers. Great definition.
Good way to explain it.
And with it, it is fighting a Game of Thrones, the card game.
I don't have that
LCG.
One on that's definitely a Game of Thrones card game.
I love Imperial Settlers. I wasn't as crazy about the roll and write. Maybe I need to play it more, which I can now very soon.
Yeah, I like Imperial Settlers roll and write. It's not. I wouldn't say it's stellar compared to how many roll and writes exist right now. But what was the other option again?
The Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones. That's a great LCG. Yeah, it's not a competition in that one for me.
All right. So moving on, we have Sentinels of the Multiverse, the hero game when you decide to fight not only the enemy but also usually the environment, versus Iron and Ale, the drinking party game about dwarves.
Another one that maybe people aren't as familiar with out there.
I like both of these. I think Iron and Ale is I think I will safely say the only actual drinking game with drinking rules that I think does it well. A lot of the ones. I mean,
we both said Bar Pig does it pretty well.
That is true, but I feel like Bar Pig plays fine without drinking when this one is you need it.
Yeah, it stands on its own.
I'm thinking of the games where if you replace it with water, it sort of loses the charm. Those kinds of games.
Right. I mean, there's no question for me. My choice is Sentinels on this one. I love that game, and it's as much I have fun once in a while, once in a blue moon with these like crazy drinking games. Iron and Ale is a little too physical for my tastes.
You know what? It's for the sake of a board game battle. I'm gonna go Iron and Ale.
All right.
I mean, I'm almost certain it's going to lose, but you know what? This will be a hill I'll fall on.
Sure. We got that clash. Dean in the chat said, "I love Imperial Settlers roll and write with the solo sheets." Yeah, that has like more variation to it. I'm really looking forward to maybe trying that too soon.
So, Iron and Ale. I've got my rating. Do you have yours, Jonathan?
Yep. What do you got?
I'm gonna be shocked if it beats this. If this wins, but it's a 5.51.
All right, Sentinels coming in with a strong 7.
Yeah. Like I said, if you like drinking games, I think Iron Ale is a fantastic one. It's why I'm happy to vote it for. But that's nothing against Sentinels. It is a fantastic superhero game.
Dean wants to know how many times have we played Battlestar Galactica? A lot. At least a dozen times probably over the years, if not more.
Any game that we owned before Roll for Crit has been played a significant amount of times.
Yeah, probably upwards of maybe 20 times over the years, which
easily.
is a lot considering how
long that game
heavy
is.
That game is.
Yeah, no. The fact that both that and Arkham Horror 2nd Edition have the number of play times that they have is just amazing to me now.
All right, give us another battle.
Battle for Souls, another Heaven and Hell battle game.
Another niche 2-player card game.
That I really do like. Versus the Mansker Caper, a game in which you are all part of a mafia, and you're all decided to rob the head mafioso. Except you also are kind of deciding you want to be the one with the most loot.
Yeah, it's like a press your luck game from Calliope. Does that we reviewed not too long ago. Pretty fun game.
But Battle for Souls, what used to be in my top 10, and I still do love it a lot, even though it didn't make the top 20 this year. I'm gonna go for that.
I think I'll agree, even though that's one of the game that I haven't played in a long time. I do remember liking it a lot. And Mansker Caper, I liked Mansker Caper too, but it like Press Your Luck. It's not my favorite genre. I think you kind of know what you're getting into. I give it to Battle for Souls. I think that's a unique, beautiful kind of game.
Excellent. All right, moving on.
Dean asked how long we've known each other. How long have we known each other?
All right. When did we start high school?
That'd be 2008, right? So about 12 years.
Oh God,
it's a long time.
That's too long. That's too long. You know what? End the stream. We're ending this now. All right. Next up, I Say Holmes. I think that we had that last board game battle.
Yes. Sherlock
versus,
Holmes game.
And I know this one was because this was, I think, part of the last pairing, Villainous, the Disney game. I got to give this a bit of a shuffle. I'm seeing some repeats already.
That's okay. We'll get to some new stuff maybe later on. But Villainous, well, for me it's Villainous. I Say Holmes, I don't think...
I got to say the same thing that I said last time.
Yeah.
I think there's just better Holmes games out there where the Disney Villains, I think it did something new and creative that was really fun.
And Villainous, it's not a perfect game, but yeah, I think it's for what it is. I think it's fun.
All right. Let's see what we got here. Oh, a surprise contender. I don't know how this fell out. Ooh. BioShock Infinite, The Siege of Columbia.
Oh, I got that one.
This is a game based in the BioShock Infinite world, but you don't play as the main character, Booker, if I recall correctly. You play as sort of the different factions, and he's sort of a wild card that runs around the board and messes everyone's plans.
The 2-player only head-to-head game.
Yes. Versus Among the Stars, pretty much Seven Wonders in space.
Right.
I'm going for Among the Stars. I don't think it's as good as Seven Wonders, because I just think there's something about it, maybe the card sizes, I don't know. But I still think it's a very good game, and it does the drafting mechanic pretty well.
Here's the thing. I like Among the Stars a good bit. BioShock Infinite, I do think, is a really cool, interesting game, and I love the take that they took on that world. It's only a 2-player game, and usually those fall out of favor with us just for reasons of not getting them to the table often enough. I don't think it's in print anymore either, that game. Among the Stars, it's just a little bit... I do like it, but I think maybe it's just living in the shadow of Seven Wonders to me.
I mean, I sort of did that with I Say Home, so I don't think that...
Yeah, and it's also, there's something of, like, when I think of them in my mind, it's a little drab, and maybe, there's expansions for it that I don't think I've played with that I bet would...
There are a lot, yeah.
I bet
a whole
would
bunch of modules
perk it up for me, but I'll give us another battle, and I'll say BioShock Infinite.
All right. And remember, we do have our vetoes. If you haven't watched before, we can decide to pretty much veto and say our board game wins regardless. We probably won't use them. We don't like to use them unless there's something big that comes up, like Arkham Horror or Battlestar Galactica. The things that made our top 20 list.
Yeah. For instance, I wouldn't be using one right now.
Neither would I. Well, I have my Among the Stars rating.
What is it?
It is a 6.816.
That's our winner versus BioShock Infinite, which is a 6.00.
All right.
So I'm fine with that. I think that's fine.
Yeah, once again, these aren't the games that are in our top 20, so they're not the ones we're going to be fighting too hard for.
Yeah.
Ooh, next up, Tiny Towns. This is the game about building your own town that can go up to, well, an infinite number of people. Versus Forbidden Island, which actually both of these are on my shelves. This is one of those games when you have to gather a bunch of different treasures and make it out before the island sinks. I think Forbidden Island, once again, I think this came up before, a great intro game, but once you get past that, it's not one of the games that I would go back to. When Tiny Towns, I think I would.
Yep, I'm with you. I'm with you completely. Forbidden Island is great for what it does, but Tiny Towns is really strong, and we've had a great time playing it, and we'll be playing it perhaps again in the future.
Stay tuned.
Yeah, stay tuned. Yeah, it's a fun game. I like it.
All right. Now we're getting a bit anime-ish with this one. We've got Attack on Titan, the 1v all game when one person plays as a Titan, the rest as the Jaegers, I believe they're called. I have not actually watched this show.
I think so, yeah. Designed by Antoine Boza, that game.
Yes. Versus Argent the Consortium, the level 99 game when you are in a magical school that is not Hogwarts, and you are playing as teachers trying to become the next dean.
That's two animes in a way.
That's why I said we're going animes with this one.
It's Argent the Consortium, right? It is.
It is. I think Argent is, but I gotta say still, the Attack the Titan game I do think is really clever and fun.
It is a cool, especially for, I mean, no offense, but a licensed game published by Cryptozoic on an anime property, normally my expectations wouldn't be super high.
Well, because it's one of those things where usually a decent licensed game, when I think of that goes well, it tends to be like Legendary. Or I know you don't like as much with DC Deck Building Game, and that's more, it's a system, and they attach the IP onto it. This was built from the IP. Like, the board is a Titan that stands in the center. It doesn't make sense to be many other things.
It's really cool, but Argent the Consortium is just a rich, deep, complex worker placement game with so much going on. It's extremely well designed. Yeah, that's the
If you do enjoy anime, honestly, both of these are ones you should be looking at.
Yeah.
All right. Next pick, Lobotomy. This is the horror game inside of a psych ward. That's the word I'm looking for.
Yeah.
Versus Valeria Card Kingdoms. This is definitely Valeria Card Kingdoms for me. By the way, that is like Machikoro, one of those games when you roll dice and you have an engine, and depending on what values, you could trigger things, whether it be your turn or not. But I love Valeria Card Kingdoms. I was disappointed, honestly, with Lobotomy. So...
Yes. I don't think, I shouldn't even need to say it. Lobotomy was a very unpleasant gaming experience when we tried it. Valeria Card Kingdoms, very pleasant. Yeah. They should put that on the box.
Jonathan Estes says, very pleasant. All right, moving on. Pandemic, Reign of Cthulhu. If you can't guess from the title, it's the Cthulhu version of Pandemic. So instead of fighting diseases, you'll be fighting off Shogots and cultists. Versus Clank, the return of the deck building game.
Go ahead.
Do like Pandemic Cthulhu because I do think it's enough fun little twist, or it's still pretty core Pandemic, but has some of the other things. But it's a re-implementation of Pandemic versus Clank. and I feel like that would be a travesty to have Clank lose out to sort of just a reskin.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, yeah, Clank is the winner there. Pandemic Cthulhu is fine, but
I feel this has been so far. It's been either both of us been like, yes, we agree, versus it's a battle, I guess.
right. Which is better. Yeah, it's so I like when they're evenly matched. In the chat, and I'm seeing it too. Your audio is slightly out of sync. I don't know if there's anything we can really do about it. I'm using we're using Google Hangouts right now. Is the way he's coming through. So I think it may just be a quirk of the streaming software and the things going on my computer right now. So, but I apologize for that. But it's, you don't really need to see our mouths move in time with us. Hopefully, you'll get the gist of the games, and we'll try to
maybe
work things out.
Our producer and tech support Ivan can help us out.
We'll
somehow.
figure that out.
Oh, there we go. All right, so our next pair. Betrayal at Baldur's Gate, the D&D version of Betrayal at House on the Hill, versus Android Netrunner, the discontinued LCG in a... It's not cyberpunk. That's right, yeah.
That's the word.
But yeah, I think Netrunner is a fantastic game.
There you are.
Oh.
No, it was my fault. You're back.
Don't scare me like that.
It was my fault. I made you frozen for a bit trying to fix things. Continue.
I think Netrunner is a fantastic card game, and I also love the world. I mean, how many times have I brought up I wish they keep bringing it back? So yeah, that's definitely the pick for me.
Yeah. Netrunner is a great choice. What was the first one again?
Betrayal at Baldur's Gate.
Yep, that's the choice. Yep, Netrunner. Yep.
If I wanted to play a D&D world, I'm going to go to D&D.
Yeah, I mean, Baldur's Gate does do some things that I think actually improve on the Betrayal formula, but not enough.
All right. So moving right along. Ooh, I like this pair.
Moving right along.
Photosynthesis, the tree game. Versus Letter Jam, the mixed up letter word game.
Okay, yeah, Photosynthesis.
I like this one because I have to actually think about now.
It's like a puzzly kind of thinky sort of.
Would you call it worker? You're not really placing workers in the spot, but
no,
you sort of are.
I would call it an abstract game.
There is a bit like you're controlling. You're not controlling I guess you're controlling area like the light on different. It's
unique. It's definitely unique. As is Letter Jam. These are both two like pretty cool games.
Yeah. I like this one because it's not one I don't think I can just, say like that.
My personal preference, I like word games a lot, and Photosynthesis I think is really cool, but it's not quite my style. I don't love it the way I think a lot of people do. So I pick Letter Jam.
I think I'm going to go with Photosynthesis on this one just because I think maybe there are some other word games I like a little bit more, but honestly, once again, I'm happy this battle's happening regardless because I think both of these are such fun games.
All right, well, here's our battle. I shall look up Letter Jam's score. And it is, on Board Game Geek, a 6.46.
All right, Photosynthesis, a 6.988. So right. Close to that 7.
Should I use my veto? I'm not gonna.
You got me excited there.
No, go ahead. I do think it's a good game. It's just not for me.
Yeah, no, I completely understand.
Yeah,
there are plenty of times.
A lot of letter jams in the chat.
Yeah, it's good to hear. I'm glad it's getting the recognition. And there are a lot of games here I feel like they're not the ones that a lot of people talk about as much, but they deserve the love that they have. So next up, The Thing, Infection at Outpost 31.
That one's too far away for me to grab.
This is based on the movie The Thing. You should go see that movie. It's amazing. Versus Pits, the stock market game.
Classic stock market game. Now, I can see a lot of people... because I know some people have issues with the balance in the thing. It's like a hit and roll game.
Yeah, I was going to say that too, but I still feel like even without the balance, for a game with hidden traders, and I'm not someone who's as good at that, I feel the journey of the thing is so much more fun.
Yeah, I mean, this is like, as far as classic games go, Pit is pretty fun and can be like a goofy, chaotic, casual time, but
it's not really not. It's definitely on the very light end of if I would to make me groan. I'm not going to groan as much with that.
Yeah, it's fun, but we like thematic rich games with a rule book that takes more than 10 seconds to read.
All right, yeah, and the thing does that well. But still, go see the movie. Both of them, honestly. I enjoyed the prequel. I don't know what you call it.
It was all right. How about the original? The one because the John Carpenter.
We're going original. I've not seen that one out yet. Have you?
No, I never saw that.
Well, while this next one is not based on an actual movie, it might as well be, and that's Dinosaur Island versus Magic Maze, the game when you all cooperatively work together, but no one can talk.
Ooh.
I mean, I got to go Dinosaur Island. It was on my list, but Magic Maze, once again, another game that is just so much fun because it does something so different.
Yeah, both really fun. I think I might say Magic Maze, but I have a feeling that this might be one you would want to use your veto on anyway.
We get to see the score usually first, right?
Yeah, that's how it works. The rules that we make up every episode. Now there's like a meta strategy to this. I should get you to use your veto early, so later on you can't use it. I'm gonna say Magic Maze. Dinosaur Island is great, but Magic Maze I think is just so.
I can't argue because
special.
It's
like very different kind of a game and.
Fun, all right,
fun
so
style.
Dinosaur Island, it's coming in at a strong 7.408.
All right. Meanwhile, Magic Maze, 6.92.
Yes, Dinos live to fight again. All right. So we're going back to the bucket. How are we doing on time, Jonathan?
We're doing okay. I'll do a few more and then we'll switch over. How about that?
All right, good.
We'll do a half hour and a half hour, maybe.
Sounds good. Yeah. All right. So we've got number 9. This is the tile stacking game with numbers 1. Wait, is there a 0? Might be 0 through 9.
Oh, yeah. There's a 0.
0 through 9. Yeah. Versus Barrage Battle.
Right. So number 9 is like a interesting abstract game with Tetris-shaped numbers, sort of. And Barrage Battle is a 2-player combat game. I guess sort of Summoner Wars-esque, right? Or like Mage Wars, maybe is what I'm thinking of, where you have like cards or your like army on a battlefield.
I think they're both similar in that sense. I think maybe one's in an arena.
Right. Number 9. I think that's oh wait, I got that one. That it's a solid casual. I think it's a really good filler game and really good too for like families.
Honestly, I want to play it a little bit more. I don't think because you've played it more than I have. So I think I'm gonna agree with you.
All right. Some comments from the Meeple Gallery we got here. Kevy B voted for Magic Maze, which he said wouldn't get a high score on BGG because it's too fun. Halo said Dinosaur Island. I get annoyed by that red piece that people keep banging on the table in Magic Maze.
Oh my God. I remember one time we had one person who just wasn't getting it. We're all just like, oh, that was so good. All right. Next up, Jonathan, we got Tokaido. As some have described it, the most competitive Zenful game versus The End is Nigh, the game about the apocalypse. Maybe a bit too close now.
That one's behind too many games. Yeah, End is Nigh comes up so much in our battles compared to how often we play it, and I feel like I'm usually, I'm the one who I have it, and I usually root for it. But
I mean, I really like Tokaido. You know that,
and I think Tokaido is a better game, definitely in this case. I think it's solid. Got to go for Tokaido.
All right. So let me throw these back in and shuffle them up a bit.
Shuffle them up.
They feel like they're too close. Let's get one from here and one
Excited
from over
for that
here.
the new Tokaido. What's it called again?
Oh God, I can't remember.
I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh. All right. So we've got Oni Tama, the 2-player monk game, competing game with sort of like chess with very interesting moves versus Arboretum, the game that had a misprint in its first printing. That's all about collecting trees.
Yeah, set collection card game. Yeah, I gotta say Oni Tama. I think that's a super cool, like no luck head to head game. Arboretum also pretty fun, but it has more of that. I guess what I'm putting these two against in the category of is interactivity between other players, and Arboretum is a little more just like you're looking at your own stuff. Onitama's you're very much engaged with the other person.
I guess I'm voting for Arboretum because I felt like compared to other set collecting, I'm looking at other people more and being like, I don't want to put that card in versus other cards. So
perhaps compared to other set collectors. All right, well.
Oh man, another battle.
That's a real battle right there.
To the website.
To the website. So.
Oh no, I misspelled it.
For the tiebreaker, Onitama has a 7.2.
And Arboretum has a 7.166.
Oh, wait. So I've got a 7.20.
For geek rating?
Yeah, geek rating.
That's higher.
Oh yeah, mine wins.
Yes.
Okay, I wasn't sure if we had to go more decimals or not.
No. As long as you just read the geek rating that 3 digits around. If it's the exact same, which I think happened once, we go to the average rating.
All right, you gonna veto it?
No. That I like that. How close that was.
Okay. Yeah, a lot of Onitamas in the chat.
A 0.034.
Pretty good. All right. Pretty good.
We've got Cult. Choose Your God Wisely. This was the Cryptozoic game. I believe it was a Kickstarter with a lot of fun gods versus Evo, the dinosaur survival game. You're sort of trying to make sure your dinosaurs survive. That was one of our first games, and I still like it. I want to play it again, but I have a feeling what I've played now, it hasn't aged as well. When Cult, I think, had a lot of clever, cool stuff. Maybe some of the gods needed a bit more balancing, but I think I'm going to go with Cult.
Yeah, Cult is a really good worker placement game. I honestly think it's underrated. Just because I think it's just one of those things where there's just so many games.
Especially with the word Cult, you instantly go to Cthulhu, which is one of the most flooded topics in board games.
All right, you want to switch? Why don't we go to...
Okay.
We're going to explain what our gauntlet is going to entail on this edition of the battle.
So I have a master list that I update usually within the week of the video.
And you can, if you want to see it, you can go to rollforkit.com/boardgamebattle to see our complete list.
And I noticed that there were some things that had technically 0 victories that definitely should not be there. Like games that have made top 10 lists for us. So they somehow went up against that one thing that it shouldn't have gone up against. So I decided I have on my phone though, a list of all the games that have no victories. So this is sort of the losers bracket, and they're going to go up against each other.
That's right. So we're getting a bunch of... It's a second chance for a lot of these games that are probably good. We just, we randomly pull these. So it's just, I think, dumb luck that either they haven't come up a lot or they've just gone up against bad things, or really good things, or whatever.
All right,
all right.
Give me a minute.
Yeah, you've got all your fancy program stuff going on over there. I don't know how any of this works.
I forgot. I had to change the number of names chosen in my fun little app here.
Yeah.
All right. So we have Pokemon Master Trainer versus Jenga.
Some of these might be on here because they deserve to be in this category.
That is very true, but at least we can narrow them down. And I think definitely Jenga.
Yeah, Jenga's fun.
Yeah, Jenga is not terrible, usually.
That's going to Jenga.
I actually really love... I think we still have the video. You had the Mario Jenga, and we have a video
Donkey Kong Jenga.
Yeah, the Donkey Kong one. And that was just a blast with the alternate mode of trying to climb the tower.
Yeah. Yeah, they have a lot of kind of cute little different Jenga versions out there. Maybe we'll get some of these games that are fun classic games, but just never win going up against modern games.
Yeah, it's a little hard to win against Gloomhaven. All right, next up, Legendary Encounters X-Files versus The Great Dinosaur Rush. I'm definitely going to go with The Great Dinosaur Rush. I feel X-Files is the Legendary Exiles. I'm sorry, John, but I think it's one of the worst legendary sets out there.
I know you definitely have a. I don't have the same dislike for it that you do.
Are we gonna battle?
I give it much more of a shot. Yeah, let's battle. I'll say.
Oh man.
I'll say Legendary Encounters X-Files. Great Dinosaur Rush. I had fun with it, but I don't. To me,
also, I do actually like that game too. By the way, this isn't me just like
right. That's a game where you're putting together bones.
Encounters X-Men, X-Files, X-Men. Now that would be interesting. All right, so Great Dinosaur Rush, 5.976.
X-Files Legendary Encounters, 5.991.
Oh man.
You got a veto.
No, I'm not gonna veto.
All right.
Actually, you know what? No, you know what? I will veto.
I'm
using the veto.
Do it.
I'm not. I don't know if there's anything here I really want to defend.
Yeah, right. At this point, what are you saving it for?
All right. So you ready for the next one, Jonathan?
Yeah. Do you have it set up? I'm curious of where there may or may not be repeats.
There could be repeats for this.
Okay. I was just curious.
I don't think the app is that much where I can pull out also if they've won one. It's a free app.
Right.
All right. Okay, this is another one I don't think is going to be hard for us. Star Wars Armada versus The Least I Can Do card game.
Sorry, Least I Could Do. Yep, Star Wars Armada.
Star Wars Armada, yeah. Like I said, there's some games in here I can't tell you what they went up against before. It was probably one time. But,
yeah.
All right. Pictomania versus Rick and Morty. The Ricks Must Be Crazy.
I know I can grab
That's the hit and roll one?
Ricks Must Be Crazy. No. I can't remember all the hit and roll one is something else. Ricks Must Be Crazy is the one with all the math.
Oh, the engine one.
The one where you go through different multiverses.
Right.
Now I'm trying to. What's the name of the?
I love Pictomania.
What's the name of that episode of Rick and Morty with all the different? I can't remember. Yes, Pictomania. It deserves a win. That's sad.
Yeah,
that it hasn't won.
You're gonna feel that with some of these titles if they make it in. All right.
Really fun party game.
Oh my God! How did these end up here? All right, you ready, Jonathan?
I'm ready.
We have Camel Up versus Exceed.
It's over there. Ooh. This is a strange one because there's, Camel Up is a game of luck and chance and it's goofy. Exceed is not that. It is all about reading your opponent
But both of these, I don't think you consider games of the bottom of the barrel.
No, they're both really, really good for what they are attempting to do.
I'm gonna have to go with Camel because I've just had so many funny, hilarious moments with it.
Yeah, I think it's really close. It's a hard choice for me. I think I'm gonna say Camel Up too. I do think it is just very novel and unique, and Exceed is kind of an evolution of games that came before it. So,
all right, all right. So, I'm pretty sure both these appeared last time. So they're making their return. Codenames Deep Undercover versus Lattice Hawaii. This is one of those fun ones again. I'm like, am I voting because of Codenames?
Right. I mean, Codenames on its own is a stronger game. Lattice Hawaii, is for people who don't know, is an abstract
tile-laying game.
Yeah, kind of an indie game we reviewed not too long ago, although it feels like a long time ago now.
You know what? I'm going to give it to Lattice Hawaii because in terms of different versions of Codenames, I don't think Deep Undercover would be one of the ones I'd choose out of all the Codenames. Similar to how if I looked at all the legendary encounters.
It really is like I could see both arguments simultaneously in my head. Like,
but
I think it's totally like, why wouldn't you just vote for Codenames? But yeah, I'll side with you. I'll say Lattice Hawaii on this one.
Stop copying me.
Sorry. Great minds think alike.
Next up, we have Adelios. This is It's not with cards, but similar to what we were talking about for like Summoner Wars, where you have tiles you move around and try to take out your opponent's castles, versus the 8-bit box, which is more of a starter set with 3 games, but you can get more. I really enjoy the 8-bit box. I think it is a clever idea. I think some of the games maybe not as good as some of the others, but overall, I think it is cute. So I'm going to go for that.
Yeah, 8-bit box, they're all based on retro video games. I think even just the ones in the box, I don't think there have been too many expansions. There have been like maybe a couple, 1 or 2 that come out since it was released, but yeah, it's fun. I give it to 8-bit box. It's a little gimmicky, but it's still fun.
All right. This next one, I was waiting for this game to come up because I think you're going to be shocked to find out it's in this group. We've got Scrabble versus Detective, a modern crime board game.
Huh. Yeah. Detective, of course, that being from Portal Games, a great mystery-solving deduction game where you're going through a story, and that is going to be my choice.
Yeah, that was the game when I was finishing this list. I was like, why is that there?
Yeah, I mean, Scrabble's a classic, but it's that's my cup of tea, that genre, and I do have my quibbles with that game, but I think it's done very well. Ivan asks in the chat, how many code names are there? There's a lot.
Well, there's like different Disney ones now. There's Pictionary. There's Pictures. Words. There's Cooperative.
Marvel, Disney, Duet. There's probably like, I don't know, like there's probably 10, like 8 to 10. And Kevy said Deep Undercover 2 is supposed to be better. Yeah, I think we maybe talked about that even on our last board game battle. I've heard the same thing. They did a new edition of it.
All right. Next up, we have Dominant Species, the card game, versus Villages of Valeria.
Villages.
I think not only do I think Dominant Species card game is a pale, comparison to its counterpart, the worker placement, I just don't think it's as good,
Yeah, I think both of those might mean the same thing, but I agree with you.
Well, I guess there's a difference between where like code names, like, well, it's After Dark, where this is, I'm like, I just don't like.
Yeah, it's not anything special. But Villages of Valeria is, I think I've said it before, I think it's my favorite Valeria game. I think it's really fun.
More than the original one.
Yeah. No, yeah.
Ooh, all right. Well, Detective, a modern crime board game returns.
Okay.
But now it's taken on Chinatown.
A place that maybe you could go in one of the detective games. Chinatown, the negotiation trading game, economic game. I know that's not your style of game.
Yeah.
I do like it. I think it's a pretty cool game, Chinatown, but again, I think Detective...
I don't think it's bad, and it's definitely not one that I think should be bottom of the barrel, maybe, but I think Detective... I will definitely choose Detective over it.
Chinatown, fun, but I prefer Detective.
Oh, I thought you were about to... I'm like, we doing a battle?
No, sorry, I was just demonstrating for the camera.
It is a little sad, though. I feel like if we did choose Chinatown, we could like, forget it, kid. This is Chinatown.
If only.
All right, moving on.
What a missed opportunity.
Eminent Domain, the space deck building game, versus Wits and Wagers Party. I think I got to go Wits and Wagers Party. I like Eminent Domain. I think for a deck builder, it does some cool stuff. But Wits and Wagers it's one of those games like Arkham and Battlestar that I think has a lot of nostalgia points with me. And I think it is a really fun, cool game.
If you're saying Wits and Wagers, I'm definitely saying Wits and Wagers. Because Eminent Domain, maybe it's a little unfair. It's been a while since I've played it. My memory is fuzzy, but I think it was fine. But yeah, Wits and Wagers, great party game. Like that. Like it. It wins. It won.
All right. So we have Post-Human. This is the post-apocalyptic game of where you're trying to make it to the last bastion in this post-apocalyptic world that recently sort of got I don't know if it's a revamp, but they made a whole new game using the world, versus the Attack on Titan The Last Stand. This is the Attack on Titan game we talked about before.
Oh, so it could have gotten a win and then not belonged in this category.
Well, I made this list before
Right.
this video, technically, but I am going to go with Attack on Titan. I think that unlike, I don't know about the newest version. I need to test out some more, but the old one, there's some significant, like, the way it would work is that you could be corrupted, I guess, lack of a better word, to become a mutant. If you're human, it's whoever first gets to the sanctuary wins. If you're mutant, if everyone becomes mutant, you all win. All the mutants win. So that sort of just felt like it comes to a point where, like, if you're not, don't think you're going to be able to capture the first place person, you sort of want to get infected. I just don't think it worked out that well.
Yeah, it has definitely some balance issues. I mean, and I think even overall, it was just, from my memory, just kind of, yeah, it's okay, even without that element. Whereas Attack on Titan, like we said, does some cool, unique stuff.
So it's got its win.
Yeah. Good job. Good job, Titan.
Wow. Well, I guess another game that just got a win in this video, so maybe technically shouldn't be here, but Tokaido. Huh. However, I don't know how well it's going to do now because it's going against Growl, the werewolf party game, and a favorite of Jonathan's. I believe it made your top 10 for 2019.
I think it did, yeah. It's tough because Tokaido is a really solid game. I mean, there's no question at all. I really love Growl, but it's also, Growl is also a somewhat derivative of other social deduction party games. Obviously, werewolf, like it's not hiding the fact that it's taking that inspiration. I don't know. I assume you're going to Kaido.
I think, but the problem is, like, you say, like, as a derivative, I think I enjoy Growl more than those derivatives that you were mentioning, though.
I agree. That's me trying to, sometimes I'll say, well, maybe I'll dock points just because it's not as original when I'm trying to narrow it down.
And then some of those expansions do add a lot of crazy, weird stuff.
There's more coming, too. There's more planned. Yeah, I'll say Growl.
All right, let's do it.
All right, let's battle it out. It's time to find out the answer. Growl on Board Game Geek. I have a feeling you're going to win this. Growl has a 5.7.
Yeah, it's a 6.851 here. But will you veto?
No.
No? Okay.
Perfectly happy letting fate decide that one.
By the way, stay tuned. We're going to release the new Roll for Crit album, which includes all the little songs we sing to fill up time in streams.
Yeah, it's going to be good.
Only $9.99 for the first 20 discs. All right. I guess this is another one that didn't have any wins. Valeria Card Kingdoms versus Ancient Terrible Things. This is a dice rolling game, but it has a lot of dice manipulation. I do like it a lot. But I really like Valeria Card Kingdoms. And even though it's already got a win, I'm going to give it to that.
Yep, Valeria Card Kingdoms, that deserves it.
Valeria's taking home a lot of wins today.
Yeah, big wins for Valeria.
All right. Ooh, okay. Paranormal Detectives. This is the somewhat cooperative competitive game. It's very interesting of trying to solve a death where someone is a spirit, but they have very weird ways of communicating. Versus Samurai Spirit, the cooperative game. Speaking of spirits, when you are all trying to defend a village from bandits, I believe, if I recall correctly.
Yeah, sort of a Seven Samurai take.
Yeah, except you can transform into animals.
Right. Right.
I'm going to have to give it to Paranormal Detectives. I think that does some really clever stuff on the solving mystery aspect that, I enjoy. It's interesting.
I'm gonna say Samurai Spirit. I think it's I just think it's a better game. I think Paranormal Detectives, yeah, it's fun and it's a fun party game and it, like you said, does some unique stuff. But I also had some issues with some of the cases and some of the clues being a little weird.
Right. I remember one case in particular where we were like, really?
Whereas Samurai Spirit, I just think is just a really solid co-op game. It's tough. It's worth playing.
Well. Right now, Paranormal Detectives is sitting at a 5.922.
Okay, well, Samurai Spirit has a 6.37.
That's going to Samurai Spirit. You sure you don't want to use your veto?
I will veto to make it double win. if you veto on a win, it gets 2 wins.
Yeah. All right. We have Forbidden Island returning. Ooh, okay. Versus the X-Files, not the legendary version. This is the X-Files game, which I think we both agree we did not like.
Now that, whereas Legendary Encounters, I get it, not liking it. I think it's a little better than you think, but X-Files, the board game, one of the most disappointing experiences I've ever had.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think the X-Files Legendary, I think I'm maybe a little bit harsh on maybe because I think I like the other ones more. This one I do think was just a failure on the
It's
system.
bad. I really think that's a bad game.
Is that one that you do think should stay down in this
Yeah,
game?
and Forbidden Island, a good game. So,
all right. Good to see.
Pretty cut and dry there.
All right, we got the classic One Night Ultimate Werewolf versus Isle of Skye. This was, I think it was a nominee. I don't know if it won.
Yeah, for the Kennerspiel, I want to say. And
it's sort of it's a tile placement, and I'm trying to remember the exact mechanics.
It's
of
like
it.
There's a bidding element to it as well as a negotiation element. Well, I don't know if it's negotiation. It's but you have like an in-game economy that is driven by the players, and you're buying tiles from each other to place them in your areas. And what was the first one again?
One Night Ultimate Werewolf.
One Night Ultimate Werewolf. This is one where I'm really like, they're 2 games that we really don't play that much, and I think they're both good. One Night is an example of a title that's like, well, there's other games in that genre I like more, but One Night sort of did it first in some ways. Isle of Skye is more of the like Euro style that isn't always our cup of tea. I don't know. I think I'll say One Night Ultimate Werewolf, but it's pretty close for me.
I think I'm gonna have to agree with you. We're gonna give it to One Night Ultimate Werewolf. I think it needs a win.
Yeah, Kevy said Isle of Skye is Carcassonne with strategy. You're right.
You know what? No, that is a good. It's Carcassonne with definitely a bit more strategy to it, which is nice.
Oh, he said it's one of his top 10 games. Well, I bet you're disappointed. No
earlier comments
for the chats. You don't get vetoes. I mean, it's close. It really was. I think they're just very different, and sometimes when you come up upon 2 games that are that different, it's hard. It's not always a fair matchup.
Well, next up we have 12 Realms, the game that usually gets picked a lot from the helmet, which is a little sad that's in here. Versus Grackles, the game about landing grackles, a kind of bird, on wires.
Oh boy. These are 2 games that they're not terrible.
But they're not the ones when you say we haven't played enough that you're going, we should add more play sessions to.
They are games where usually when they come up in a battle, I will say, okay, whatever the other one is.
In this case, I'm going to give it 12 Realms. And I think that's because it's a bit more thematic. We like our more theme games going on.
Yeah, I'll go 12 Realms. It's
also because I don't know why, but because Grackles is related to birds, I can't stop but go, but Wingspan has birds. Like it's the dumbest correlation to have. Like just because it has birds, I'm comparing it to it.
Grackles is like an abstract game. I just felt like if you want to play Grackles, you should just play Othello. I don't think there's any reason So,
well, we have another game that came up earlier, and I think got a win, and rightfully so, and that's Tiny Towns versus Sorry. the classic. Is that a Hasbro game? I think it's part of the Hasbro line.
Milton Bradley, Parker Brothers, whoever owns whichever company.
Tiny Towns.
Yep. Sorry. Today is not your day to win. Sorry. Not sorry.
All right. This one did not get a win today, and that's I Say Homes. And now I am a little afraid that I use my veto because it's going up against the DC deck building game.
DC deck building game doesn't have a win.
It only finally appeared.
Oh.
Like, I think last video.
No, you know what? Look, sometimes out of the goodness of my heart, I like to help you out. I'll give it to DC deck building game in this case.
Thank you.
It should have at least one win on our bracket.
Oh, okay. So this next one, I like these two games. I'm curious what your thoughts will be. We have Ladies and Gentlemen. This is a asymmetrical team game when you play in teams of two, trying to be the fanciest couple at the ball, but each player on the team is going to be playing a very different sort of mini game. Versus Blue Lagoon, and this is a game all about populating islands with different huts and people, getting different points depending on the layouts. I like both of these games. I think they're both pretty fun.
Yeah. My gut's telling me Blue Lagoon. I think that game does a lot of things right. I think it has a very simple, like, I use elegant a lot to describe game mechanics, but like very classic kind of feel to it. Ladies and Gentlemen, maybe it's one that we owe some more game time to.
It does, but I think you're right, and I think it's the same thing you were saying. But Blue Lagoon is, I think, a solid game that is you just need people at the table. I feel for Ladies and Gentlemen, there's much more of you need certain conditions for it to be good. Like you need the right number of people for teams. You probably want to make sure the right people are on each side kind of deal.
Yeah, it's I think Blue Lagoon is more focused.
Yeah.
Ladies and Gentlemen is all over the place.
Which I think is
by
fun.
design.
It just needs those hoops to fulfill. And I think because of that, I got to give it to Blue Lagoon.
Yep.
But both games I like. All right. Once again, that's the whole part of this list is to give games that I think deserve a better shake.
For sure.
All right. So I forgot you put this on possible picks.
What do we got?
Go Fish.
All right. Classic.
versus Trap Words. I mean, even if it wasn't Go Fish, which is one of those games that I think of all the card games to play, if you have someone above the age of 5, you should try something else. Trap Words is, I think, actually a really great word game.
Yeah, Trap Words is super fun. It's like a sort of a take on Taboo or Password. Really clever.
Except unlike Taboo, which I like Taboo too, but this allows for so much more creativity. Like sometimes it's Taboo because of like the era is printed in, a movie didn't come out yet, so like a word becomes really easy to guess.
Right. Yeah, this has that element to it. Yeah, that definitely improves on that. I think underrated, deserves more love.
Oh yeah, absolutely, and especially when you throw in the different bosses and words where like people have 2 words to guess, or now you have to use now. Like it becomes such a much more interesting word game.
And Trap Words is one that I'm thinking about. I was wondering if we could possibly play it online remotely, but I'm not sure. Well,
I think you could.
I think it might be possible.
Well, I think at least in the next coming week, you and I are going to do a bit more finagling and testing of games. We're going to try to really push the limit so people can watch us play some games.
Yeah, Kevy wants to know how I find my games so easily. I just know where they are, and if they're in arm's reach, I grab them.
Yeah, nothing is within arm's reach of me, and I'm afraid I've already tapped this mic like 3 times during this stream. So,
all right, let's do one more.
All right, this is the last one.
Make it a good one.
All right, then this is not a good one because it's a very obvious pick. Then, so I'll look for something. Okay, this one I think is interesting. This one I don't know the outcome. By the way, the other one was we didn't play test this versus Musée.
Yeah, you want to let's just give Musée a win.
Sure, because I know us well enough.
And guess what, Kevy? Boom! There it is.
All right. This one you cannot do, Jonathan. You do not have these games on your shelf.
Okay.
We got Doomtown Reloaded, the Wild
used
the
to have it
West.
on my shelf.
Used to, but not anymore. Versus Heroes Wanted, the game about sort of becoming the next big hero, but you're sort of a bit quirky.
Yeah. Wow. That's
this is definitely a much more interesting battle. We're dealing with it's not the way the Heroes Wanted works. You sort of draft an upper part and a lower part, which gives you these special abilities to roll dice, and you have a scenario and you move around the board to do things. It's usually something very funny, like fighting people who are littering, or bootleg like VHSs.
Right. Doomtown Reloaded is a game that I really like the concept of it, and even in execution I think it works well. I just find it particularly frustrating with just how many rules and keywords there are, and it's not a game that I've played enough to really fully comprehend. So I feel like every time I sit down to play it, I'm learning 2 new games.
Right, and I will say this: Doomtown has one of the honors of being a game which we've looked at the rulebook and we could not just get through.
That being said, I don't love Heroes Wanted either. I mean, I think it's one of our games we've had for a while and hasn't got to the table in a long time. Partially because there's just so many games, but I think partially just because I don't know if it really will held up that well.
I have played more Doomtown than you because the person who has all of Doomtown makes decks and he comes visits me more and we hang out. And once you do get your head around a lot of the rules, I do think it's fun. I also think that it's setting and world. I'm talking about theme. Theme is a deciding factor for me. Deal with it. I think it stands out among the Westerns when among superhero games, how would you choose Here's One over Sentinels? I don't think you would.
Yep. So that's Doomtown Reloaded for both of us. So that's
I think a much more interesting discussion.
Yeah.
Compared to we didn't play Justice versus Music.
Ajan in the chat voted for Heroes Wanted, but you don't get a vote, so I'm sorry. But we like
I can see it, but like I said, also those card games, like I tend to like that kind of stuff more in particular. So once again, I think we gave a bunch of people who needed some wins, some well-deserved wins.
Yeah,
we'll probably revisit it again when the zeros build up, and maybe next time we stream this, we'll look at the top half again. Where things will get a bit more maybe tricky, where we'll probably see a lot more of maybe our top 20s appear, and those vetoes will be much more important.
Yeah, that's right. Less of the underdogs, more of the overdogs, which is a thing. You can see our full list again by going to rollforcrit.com/boardgamebattle. There's a link in the description too. If you're curious to see where we land right now.
Do remember, I will need some time to update this list. So if you go right now, it's going to look like what it looked like before. So you'll see some zeros there.
Kevin just said, find the big score, which I think he is mocking me because it's a giant white box that clearly stands out amongst every other game on my shelf. But anyway, thanks everybody for watching. We'll do some more board game battles and more streams like this. You can always stay tuned to our social media and our website around beginning of the week is when we're going to be trying to post our schedules for the week of doing these streams, so you can tune in when we're doing them and play along with either this or an actual game that we're playing at home.
And of course, usually we do polls on our Patreon of what our gauntlet was going to be. But this time, if you have a cool idea, leave in the comments section or tweet at us. We'd love to hear interesting gauntlet ideas.
Yeah, let us know or which ones you think deserve to win on this episode. Dean in the chat asked, what happens if your number ones are both pulled? We fight to the death.
Mm-hmm. We have special knives in a do not break glass until emergency. And knife fight to the death. So I hope that won't happen because that's the end of Roll for Crit.
I mean, hopefully it happens only when we're quarantined, because if we're in person...
Oh, no, I'm coming to you.
Well, I've got snipers and drones and things. All right. Thanks, everybody. Again, this has been Roll for Crit. And if you're watching this right now, it's Friday. We'll see you tomorrow on Saturday for a stream of the Alien RPG. Otherwise, subscribe for whatever else we're doing in the future. My name is Jonathan.
And my name is Will.
And this was the Roll for Crit board game battle. So long, my friends.